That is such a cool vibe. I didn't even want to talk over it at the end. That is Silicon Kong broken down. Really, really cool. This is Matt Connarton Unleashed. Of course, we are live on this Saturday morning, August 24, 2024. Jenny is here as well at the news table.
Present and account for.
And we've actually played a few Silicon Kong tracks so far this morning. But we have, is this the man himself joining us via Skype? Hello.
Hello?
Welcome.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Very good, very good. Yeah, we played.
Good morning, New England.
Yes, yes. So we played Broken Down, and we did play a little bit earlier before the break, Cosmic Groove Pool, and I also played, even though let's see, what was it? Computer. I'm trying to get back to it now. I played a couple of older things as well because
was that Do You Compute?
Oh, yes. Do You Compute? I was listening to that last night, and I was like, I got to play this one, too, because that is so...
Actually, that's a Donnie Iris cover.
Is it? I didn't realize that.
It's Donnie Iris from Pittsburgh, yes.
I had no idea. I really like that song.
Well, thank you. Well, thank Donnie Iris, too. So.
I'll have to check out the Donnie Iris. Yeah, when I think of Donnie Iris, the only...
Leah.
Leah, which is a personal favorite of mine. And what's the other one? Love is Like a Rock. Is that?
Rock,
yeah.
Well, being that I'm a Yinzer and I grew up in Pittsburgh, I'm just so used to. I grew up listening to Donnie Iris. I loved him. I mean, he's awesome. He's King Cool. To us, he's like an icon. So I mean, so it was only fitting that I did a suitable cover that would fit him, and hopefully he liked it.
Yeah. Do you know if he's ever heard it? Like, have you ever met him or talked to him?
I can't say I have. I actually just released that not too long ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I do like my covers are very as you can tell, they're very unique. I'm sure if you would go to my Reverb Nation page or my Facebook page, I do covers, but they're different. So.
Yeah, no, they are. I also listen to, maybe I'll play it later. I listen to your cover of Destroyer.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's really, really cool. By the way, so what is a Yinzer?
Yinzer, that's a Pittsburgher.
Okay.
It's a form of identification for a Pittsburgher.
Okay.
Because we and that, and Yuns, and we have our own little dialogue out here in Pittsburgh. So.
Well, apparently, I had no idea. I don't know what any of these things are.
Well, I work with a lady here. She's actually from New Hampshire, and her accent is I can tell she's definitely from New Hampshire. I mean, you just have your own little dialogue accent thing going on up there.
Right.
Coffee and blocks.
Well, we have, though, it's strange, though, because in New Hampshire, we have variations of it. For example, there's that classic, well, not just New Hampshire, there's that classic New England thing of, which I think with every generation becomes less and less prevalent, where people drop their R's, instead of park the car, they say park the car. But there's also variations where, where you do pronounce your R's, but there's something else weird going on where people can still tell that you're from here, even though you do pronounce your R's. It's strange. Yeah. There's different, there's levels to it.
Sure. You know what? A couple years ago, I was traveling down south. This is just a cool story. And I stopped in this little mini mart. It was in Bowling Green, Kentucky, outside Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's 2 a.m. and there's this nice little girl working the counter. And I was looking around and say, hey, where do you put the cigarettes at? She said, you're from Pittsburgh, ain't you?
Oh, she could tell, huh?
Yeah, because the Yins.
Oh, so not just, so that's not like a Pennsylvania thing. That's very specifically a Pittsburgh thing?
Specifically, it is definitely a Pittsburgh thing, a Steel City thing. Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. And so Silicon Kong is from the Steel City of Pittsburgh.
Well, a suburb of it, Greensburg, Pennsylvania. It's about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, southeast.
Okay. And tell us about, now there's a movie coming, right? The Steel City Architect?
Yes, there is. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, it's a movie called The Steel City Architect, a Pittsburgh rockumentary. What that is, that's a movie that will be released in January. It's with Drew Moreland of Improv Chill Studios and Santos Ortez Patrick of Downcast Spark. Now, what that is, it's kind of like years and years ago. I'll tell you what. I guess I have time. I can tell you the story.
Yeah,
A couple years ago, there was a producer out here. Like I said, her name's Drew Moreland, and she was a filmmaker. She's won quite a few awards, and she's also an author of a couple books, which I'll post on my Facebook page if anybody wants to check it out. But anyway, what happened was she was looking for she was doing a zombie movie. And I was like, well, somebody contacted me. One of her affiliates contacted me. And I was like, well, hey, I wouldn't mind doing like a soundtrack. I do some songs for a zombie because I love horror movies. I grew up with horror movies. And I was like, well, that'd be really cool. I said, well, I'll tell you what, how about, I'm playing this show. It was a place called Casey's in Pittsburgh. And I said, come out, check out the show. And, if you like it, maybe we can arrange something and I can do some soundtrack work. So make a long story short, she came out with her a constituent at the time. And she was like, I came out and I come out, I'm a one-man show, much like Grim Rock. I know you know Grim Rock.
Yes, and he's in the chat room, by the way. And yes,
Grim Rock's awesome.
We love Grim.
Yeah, we love Grim. Me and Grim got a lot of things going on, so people, please stay tuned. Oh. But anyway, back to the story. And she came out and she was like, well, hey, I was like, well, come out. And I come out, I opened that particular set with the Ballad of Dwight Fry cover by Alice Cooper.
Oh, nice.
And I come out in a straight jacket and a mask, and she lost it. She was like, oh my God, get my camera. And she said, do you mind if I film this? I was like, no, you go right ahead. I mean, cool. I like to have a little video thing anyway. And make a long story short, after I was done playing, I was like, so is there a chance of me getting in the soundtrack? She's like, soundtrack? She said, I want you in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm just a musician. I'm not an actor. She said, you know what you was doing up on stage? That was acting, and you should look into it. To make a long story short, we've had a long, relationship with each other since then. And we've done a couple movies, Hidden Behind a Veil, which was up by Drew Moreland and Santos Pasteric as well. We also did Pizza Musical. These things will be released within due time. So if people just want to stay tuned to my Facebook page, I will be releasing the links to the YouTube and anything. Anyway, so I was like, well, you know what? I had this cool idea. I wanted to do like a kind of a Spinal Tap movie, you know. I wanted to do a song. It was basically Silicon Kong is totally a character. And what he is he is a guy that has been in Yinzer, a Steel City guy who's been trying to pound the pavement in Pittsburgh and trying to get recognition for years to no avail. So people just kind of overlooked him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So what it was like, and I like to kind of tie that in. I always had this cool idea of tying that into like a movie. And I explained it to her, and I told her about it, and she came back to me a couple of weeks later. She said, let's do it. I was like, do what? She said, let's do this movie. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But to make and now we started filming in 22. Okay. What she wanted was a nice timeline of a struggling musician in Pittsburgh. Okay. And we just finished last scene, I think a couple months ago, and that's due for release. And like I said, in a new year, it'll be due for release. Like I said, if anybody wants to keep up on my Facebook page, I also have a Reverb Nation page.
Yes.
It's a music page, Silicon Kong. I always put the links to everything on that. So, yeah, like I said, so that's exciting for me. I mean, it's just kind of strange in a way, because like I said, for years I've just been a musician, and all of a sudden I see myself on camera and I see myself on TV, and it's like, whoa. Yeah. But it's cool. It's cool. So
Silicon Kong is the character. You, Ian Hemi, are the you're the
portrayer.
The portrayer. But are you always Silicon Kong on stage, or are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, on stage. You know what? I've been around in Pitt. Like I said, this is my home area. Like I said, I'm definitely a Yinzer. I'm from the Pittsburgh region. I've been in countless bands: Leaping the Bull, F6, April's Fool, Still Mana. I've always been the singer and a bassist in a band of some kind of band. Yeah. But the Silicon Kong stuff, actually, what happened there? Pseudo-Anon was another one I was in. What happened there was I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so everything that you're hearing, I play everything.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I play it all. I mean, I play. There's songs I'll play mandolin. There's songs I'll play harmonica. There's songs I'll play drum. All the drums are me, they're drum machines. But there's sometimes I use live drums as well. Yeah. But yeah, all the instruments, I play them all. So that's, and what happened was, because I've always just had a love for music and I just enjoy it so much, right? So I taught myself everything, and there's particular songs that I couldn't really divulge with another band. There's certain feelings with certain songs that I needed to get across in my own dialogue and my own way.
Yeah.
And it just, in a live band, it just wasn't working. So I credit, like I said, the new wave movement and the industrial metal music is a huge influence to me.
Yeah.
So as well as the progressive rock. I mean, of course, let's go back to Pink Floyd. Yes. Crack the Sky, which actually West Virginia's guys, Crack the Sky, great band. If anyone has a chance to check them out, they were kind of overlooked. Very, very good progressive rock band. I actually covered one of their songs called From the Greenhouse. They could probably find that on my YouTube. So if anybody wants to go on my YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, Ian Hemi. Just pull it up and it'll pull everything up. I have, I think, 80 videos up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that is actually one of them. But anyway, and so I just started tinkering around. I built my own little home studio, and much to my how can I put it? And well, my wife's used to it, so I'm gonna say that. I've been married 32 years. She's used to it. She supports it. But anyway, and I would just sit around and just get ideas. Sometimes I start with a drum line. Sometimes it's a bass line, a piano line, a guitar line, lyrics, and I would just sit down and tinker with them.
Yeah,
and they become songs, and they become the material that is now Silicon Kong.
Well, it's got to be very sort of liberating to be able to do that. I mean, obviously, I wonder what it would be like to do that. I've played in a lot of bands. I'm not currently active with that, but I've played in a lot of bands. But I've never done anything where it was just me creating. And although I'm not a multi-instrumentalist. I play bass. I can play a little bit of guitar. And
bass is my primary instrument. That's why I started playing. So,
okay. And so in the bands that you fronted, you were the bass player and lead singer?
Yes. I was always the bassist and lead singer.
I'm curious about this. Did you get a lot of people who would be like, whoa, that's unusual? Even though it's not that unusual. I mean, there are singing bass players like Geddy Lee and Tom Araya, but
Corner.
But would people come up to you and be like, whoa, I've never seen that?
Yeah, you know what? The reason why they do that is because I only play 6-string basses.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a huge Primus fan as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
So, and Steve Harris, Geddy Lee, of course, Les Claypool. Let me see who else. There's Mark Antos, The Who. I mean, I've always what happened was, how I started out is I was 15 years old, and a friend of mine who was a neighborhood kid, excellent guitarist. This was back when Metallica was huge. This was during the One era, Metallica. And he was like, dude, we're going to do a band. Oh, and I was like, dude, I could play guitar. Because at that time, I could play a little bit of guitar. And he was like, oh, no, we already have enough guitarists. I was like, oh, man, if you can play bass, you can be in. So what happened there is my grandmother, God rest her soul, she went to a flea market. Okay, remember, keep in mind, I'm only 14, 15 at the time.
Yeah.
She went to the flea market and found this old Gibson P bass. And she brought it home. I told her, she said, I was actually talking to her about it. And I was like, well, I wanted to be in this band, but they need a bassist. And she said, what's a bass? I said, it's a guitar, 4 strings. Of course, I had to explain it to her.
Yeah.
And that woman came home the next week with one from the flea market. And I learned to play it.
Nice.
And that's where it all started. And I played bass in that band for a while. And the thing about a bassist is we're as hard to find as drummers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we're harder to find than drummers. And so I just stuck to it. But what happened there, man, is like I perfected it within a year, and then I got bored. So that's when I started turning to Steve Harris.
Okay.
And Geddy Lee, and I started to really, really perfect the bass and in ways that played. I wanted to play it the way no one else did, and with locally, no one else could play, and so I did.
Yeah. I can relate to what you're saying about bass players being in high demand. When I used to be really active, I played at one point I was in 3 different bands that were all actively playing out. And I was kind of sought after in the scene, but in my case, it was never because, I would rate myself as a bass player as average, but I had a good reputation, no drugs or alcohol or anything. People knew they could depend on me to show up. And that went a long way.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. But with drummers, it's interesting because you mentioned drummers being hard to find. A lot of the guests that we have on the show, and Jenny can attest to this too. It's like, the drummer, if we have a band on, the drummer will be the one member of the band who's in like multiple bands because drummers are so hard to find. And my theory about it is when you're growing up and you start to get interested in playing an instrument, when you got to have the conversation with the parents about how I want to start playing something, if you say drums, that's like the one thing, and maybe the tuba. Maybe those are the two things that they're going to try to talk you out of. Like, does it have to be that? Because nobody wants all that noise. Yeah. So yeah, drummers are really hard to find. Like every drummer I know is in like 10 bands. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have a studio drummer. His name's Kane Cross. If people want to dig him up, he's on Facebook too. But in the last duo, actually, Leaping the Bull was a duo we was in. It was kind of like Royal Blood, but we was a more creepier, kind of gothy version of Royal Blood. We had a run since we started. What happened there was we finished our first CD in November of 2019. Okay, now you know where this is going. I was like, oh, yes, dude, let's get out there. We're going to get out there and nail it. How many months later, boom, pandemic, no one's doing nothing.
Yep.
So what we did is we continued to do some really cool videos. Like, if anyone goes on my YouTube, they can find them, the Leaping the Bull videos. They're like mini horror movies.
Oh.
Yeah, they're really, really actually cool. Kind of more, they're cool to watch. It's like a mini horror movie. But anyway, so we continue doing that up until... Well, just recently, he sustained an injury on a motorcycle accident.
Ooh. So
he's unable to play. So, unfortunately. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, we was like, oh yeah, but the pandemic came, and the pandemic, I'm sure it affected everybody as far as being an artist. We were all just knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. And it was sad. It was really sad. Actually, in this area, Matt, it's sad because 50%, I want to say 50% of the bands that I used to play with in 18 and 19 never came back.
Yeah.
Half of the venues never reopened.
Yeah.
Because that was really hard on everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So during that time period, also, whenever I was doing Leaping the Bull, that's whenever I really started to focus on doing releasing more Silicon Kong things. That I had lots of downtime because I actually in 2020 we actually Leaping the Bull was scheduled to play all year. I mean, we had to cancel every show.
Wow. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
So, what can you do though? I mean, it's pandemic. I work in the health field myself, so I know that it was terrible.
Yep.
But
and who knows? I mean, you might not. We have to find these silver linings where we can, and it did kind of force a lot of people to be creative in ways that maybe they hadn't considered. And some of the projects that we talk about on the show, different guests that we've had, some of them found themselves kind of in scenarios very similar to yours, where they started just creating their own music on their own, where they didn't necessarily have to be in a room with anybody. And really doing something like Silicon Kong, where, like you said, you're doing it all yourself, and, which is pretty cool. By the way, so when you play live, because you talked about playing live, when you play live as Silicon Kong, are you with a band, or is it all you, or does it vary, or how does...
I'll tell you how I do that. I have like I said, I have a home studio, and what I do, like I said, I record. Like I said, once again, I play everything. So what I'll do is I'll take my laptop. I have 2 or 3 of them, and what I have is I have those songs on a playlist. I use Sony products, recording products, studio products. And what I'll do is I'll take the lyrics out, and I'll just get up and sing to them, or sometimes I'll take a guitar line out and play guitar, or take a bass line out and I'll play bass. I mean, it varies. I mean, but usually on stage, it's just me.
Okay.
Some kind of outrageous outfit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm also a very big Alice Cooper fan. So.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Ian Hemi about Silicon Kong. And Ian, of course, is a Yinzer. Am I saying that correctly?
Yinzer, yes.
Yinzer.
Yes. And Matt, I just want to point out, I know you're Yinzer, New England. Hey, we can still be friends, man. Okay.
Oh, why? Is there some sort of sports rivalry I don't know about?
Well, no, we're just referring to the NFL.
Okay. See, I don't know. See, I'm not I'm not.
Bruins, and more Bruins.
Jenny knows.
I'm sorry. I gotta stay true. Steelers, and Steelers.
You can try.
See, I have no clue. Jenny knows more about sports ball than me. I don't. I know nothing. I don't even know. I don't know how many innings are in a football game. I don't know anything.
Oh,
I'm
God.
I'm
Here
just.
we go again.
I'm completely lost. But
Yeah, like I said, I work with one lady. She's from New England, and we always discuss the football. You know, she's a huge Patriots, and you know, me and her are always kind of going at it. So
yeah. So I'm really curious to see this movie. I'm a huge. By the way, this is Spinal Tap. Happens to be my favorite film of all time.
wow, then you'll love it. You'll love it.
So I'm very curious to see it. And this is supposed to come out in January of 25. Is that correct?
Right now, it's on YouTube, and my producer, like I said, Drew Moreland, is working on various streaming platforms.
Yeah.
She's working on those now. So by the time it happens, and by the time right now the movie is in post-production. So by the time she's done with all of that, and the woman is awesome. I mean, she does so much. Like I said, she's a producer, a director, an actor, an author. Oh my God. Like I said, I definitely, like I said, I can't stress enough, but I'm going to put on my Facebook page after we're done here, a link to her book. It's called the Horrific. This is cool. The Horrific Tales of Artificial Intelligence.
Oh,
okay, and her full name is Drew Lene Moreland, and I will post that on my timeline on my Facebook. So if people want to go and check it out, it's an awesome read. Actually, back to that real fast, and I'll get back to the movie. She actually started writing the book, I want to say 8 months ago.
okay.
And we was talking about it. You know, me and her were just kind of brainstorming about it because as Silicon Kong, as you can tell, has a AI thing going.
Yeah.
Some kind of AI vibe going. And we was talking about it, and she was like, you know, we was discussing how just mankind becomes really dependent on AI and various reasons in many ways.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know what? When you write the book, I will write a song. So when your book is done, I will let people know, hey, here's the book, and this is a song inspired by that book. And actually, I'll have to send that to you. It's actually a song called Cyber Jesus.
Okay.
And I will be releasing it here within the next week because her book, like I said, she just finished her book and just put it up for sale last week.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I will be releasing that. It's a brand new tune, and it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Send it to us. You know, something that we love to do here on the show. We do world radio premieres.
Oh, okay.
So we would love to be the first FM station to air it.
Yeah. I said I have an internet station that waiting for it too. But
cool.
First FM, yeah, you can have the first FM. Yeah, you can have it.
Awesome. We love it. Yeah. Very cool. And we'll
back to the movie. So what about the movie again?
No, I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, yeah, like I said, she's working on back to that. She's working on various streaming platforms. Like I said, her ultimate release date she'd like to do January 25.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, as soon as that's up and as soon as the information is released to me, you know, I will be putting it up on all my social medias. I have Instagram, I'm on X, TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I have YouTube, Reverb Nation. Like I said, all you gotta do is type in Ian Hemi on your Google time. It'll pull up everything.
Okay.
And you can, anyone and everyone can find me.
Hey, where's the name come from, by the way? Silicon Kong.
Good story. I got time, I'll tell you.
Oh, we got time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I grew up in the late 70s and early 80s. Okay, so every year I don't know if they did the same thing in New England, but here in Pittsburgh, every year at Thanksgiving time, it was kind of like a tradition with my family. You know, of course, Thanksgiving's a big holiday for a lot of families. But anyway, every year they would play King Kong on Thanksgiving Day. It would be I'll never forget it. It was always Wizard of Oz was first, and then they would play King Kong. That's back when we only had 3 or 4 channels to watch. Remember?
Yeah, I remember when they would play Wizard of Oz. They might even still do that.
Yeah, I think they still do. But I remember back then, and they would always play King Kong right up, the original King Kong, of course. And King Kong was always kind of like my favorite monster movie. I mean, I love Godzilla and Gamera and all that, but King Kong was always the top. Anyway, back to the name. I was sitting around, like I said, coming in and out of bands like I was doing. And I was trying to think of a cool thing. I was just like, well, maybe I'll just release, these songs under Ian Hemi. And I was like, nah, that's not really that cool. Anyway, I was sitting down one day and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was just kind of messing around. And the newest King Kong with Jack Black. You ever see that movie?
Oh, I'm aware of it. I've never actually watched it, though.
Well, it's a newer movie. I mean, it was like the whole start of it all. But anyway, that movie was on, and it was on a Sunday, and we was watching it downstairs. And I was just that's at that time my home studio was downstairs, and I'm looking around. I was just kind of messing around with my music and that, and I was like, wow. I said, the new remake of the King Kong with Jack Black is excellent. So if anybody gets a chance, definitely check it out. Anyway, so I was like, wow, and I just kind of reverting back to my childhood, how much I loved King Kong.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, I wish I could use that somehow. And I was like, Kong. I could be king of the electronics. And then my friend said, hey, wait a minute, why don't you go with electronic Kong? And I was like, wait, and jokingly, I came upstairs, and my son was watching something on YouTube or something like that. And they mentioned Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Well, I was going to the restroom. I went back downstairs, and just half-heartedly and out of nowhere, I just said, how about if I just go with Silicon Kong? And he was like, dude,
yep,
that's it.
Yep.
So I'm the king of the electronics.
I can tell you, so Friday nights, I'm a co-host on a show called Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. And so during the show, Paul always asks me to plug whatever I'm going to be doing here on Saturday morning. And so I mentioned, I said Silicon Kong, and he loved the name. He had not heard it before, and he was like, that's great. He loved it.
Last Halloween, there another local band, Jessica Bella Band, good band. Check them out. You can find them on the internet too. Jessica Bella Band. She's a cute little Pittsburgh pop singer. Anyway, we work. They have a company called MOP Records.
Okay.
Being an artist, an actor and a musician, we all try to help each other out here. That's what you do.
Yeah.
If we can help each other out in some form artistically, we will. Anyway, she was doing a show, and she invited me to come up to her show last Halloween, and kind of make, I'm kind of promoting the movie. I've been promoting the movie probably really hard for, I'd say, about 8 months now, because like I said, I knew we was wrapping it up and finishing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got up on stage. Before I went on stage, I was outside this place called Jurgles in Pittsburgh. And, this one lady came up, and she, hey, how you doing? Of course, and we're talking, I'm dressed up, almost, dressed up in everything except for my mask. So she knew I was some kind of artist there for a purpose.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she said, oh, yeah, who you are? I said, yeah, I'm here. I'm going to do a little thing on stage. She said, what's your name? I said, Silicon Kong. She said, that is an awesome villain name. I was like, yes, it is.
Yes, that's true.
That just kind of stuck to me. I just kind of remembered that.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And I think it's cool that you're doing stuff with Grimrock, but you
Grim's awesome. Grim.
You kind of hinted, but it sounds like you've got things in the works that you can't necessarily talk about yet, or
no, not right now, man. Grim, we have a plan.
Okay.
All I can tell you is your listeners, not just to stay posted to me or Grimrock, and for further information.
Okay. Did you say all I can tell yous? Is that? Yeah. That's Pittsburgh right there.
I'm sorry, that's my Pittsburgh dialogue.
Gotcha. I do feel like I've had that.
You got that, Nat? We do that a lot too. Nat.
Oh,
and that.
Wow, you really do have your own dialect there.
Yeah, we do.
That's amazing. Are you able to play out a lot? Are there a lot of good, you did mention after the pandemic or during the pandemic, a lot of venues closed, but
it's sad. A lot of them just never reopened, and it was just so sad.
And what you're doing is unique. Are there still a lot of places to play, or do you hit the road and get out of the area and play some places, or?
I'll tell you what, Matt, we just recently, thanks to Grimrock, actually, I'd have to thank Grimrock for that, but just recently I've been racking shows up left and right. back now, I can also say like Silicon Kong was somewhat around during the pandemic and that, but prior to that, I was in a just real quick story here. I've always kind of liked it. Strange musical combinations. Like there's a band, I was in an industrial metal band called F6.
Uh-huh.
Now, what that consisted of was me playing bass and singing, and my friend guitarist at the time, Dustin Marks, was the guitarist, and we would come up on stage with just a computer,
Wow.
and we play guitar, I would play bass and sing. So years, and then after that, I also did another thing called Pseudo Anno with Jeff Gedemy, and we would do the same thing. He would do the singing part, and I would kind of do the rapping, kind of creepier rock vibe.
Yeah.
The strange thing about that, why I'm mentioning that, is then this is between 2005 and I'd say 14 or 15, and we would go out there, and people would be like, "Dude, where's your drummer? Dude, where's your drummer? Where's your band?" So at first we weren't like, this kind of coincides with what I do. It really wasn't well accepted.
Yeah.
People in Pittsburgh want to see bands. They want to
Right.
see a whole stage full of people headbanging, playing their instruments, whatever the case may be. So for me to get up there, and Grim can attest to this, he's actually had to deal with this as well.
Yeah.
Getting up on stage as just you playing something or what back then was not accepted. But since the pandemic, I will say this. I mean, nothing good came of that pandemic. I don't care what anyone says. It was terrible in every possible way.
Yeah.
But the only thing that did come out is we decided, going out on stage with a computer or whatever, and like a lot of the rappers or hip hop artists would do. Now it's accepted.
Yeah.
Now people are like, "Hey, that's pretty cool now." So it kind of works out for that. So because of that, like I said, now because of that, and it's more widely accepted in the area. Yeah, I got lots of shows coming up. So
Yeah. Well, plus I would imagine too, other bands must love playing with you, because when you get to play with someone who like if you're opening for somebody and they have to follow you, and you're not going to take, you don't have you don't need 20 minutes to break down a drum set. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they do like it. And like I said, the thing about it is there's a few bands, excuse me, out here. God Hates Unicorns, Primate. There's a few of the bands that did survive the pandemic, and we're all of us are really tight in the area.
Yeah.
The Perishables. There's a couple other bands, like I said. And the thing about that is we just all, even though we may be different styles and different genres, we all support each other. I mean, there's a handful of us that support each other. Of course, it's just like any other big city. There are some bands that are like, "Yeah, great show," and then as soon as you turn around, they're stabbing you in the back. There's
Sure.
There's quite a few of those too. But the thing about it is, like these guys, like I said, back to the God Hates Unicorns and Primate and Perishable. These are guys that are really down to earth, excellent human beings.
That's good. Yeah.
So we stick with that. We basically like to stick with our little circle of various bands that we like to play with. So yeah, and we enjoy playing for each other. I mean, I've opened up for God Hates Unicorns. I've done stuff with Primate, and we always had a great time. We loved it. We all support each other.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. God Hates Unicorns. I've heard that name. That name came up on the show recently.
God Hates Unicorns.
Grim,
yes, they're awesome.
Grim might have mentioned them, but
yeah, they're awesome. I will say, I can't really purvey much, but I'll just be saying they'll be around with us in one form or another.
Oh.
Yeah, just stay tuned. Like I said, people are just gonna have to go on the Facebook pages, mine and Grim's website, and just keep posted.
Yeah,
because there's some surprises coming. That's all I got to say.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Well, we look forward to that. Well, listen, Ian Hemi, also known as Silicon Kong, we're gonna have to let you go in a moment, but it's been wonderful having you on. I've really enjoyed talking with you.
I enjoyed being here,
and I'm a big fan of what you're doing. I love your music.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate Yuns for supporting guys like me and Grim. It's awesome because every little bit helps. And like I said, back to the Facebook pages, go on the Facebook pages. Likes are cool. Shares are better,
Yeah.
Please,
Absolutely.
feel free to.
Absolutely. What should people know about where to find you online?
Like I said, really back to what I said. You just type in Ian Hemi, and anything that is affiliated with Silicon Kong in any possible way, we'll pull up on one of the, if not all. I'm on the IDMB, the actors thing on, the Hollywood actors thing. I mean, I'm also a producer and a writer. Like I said, I've done things with movies and stuff like that. So anywhere you type in Ian Hemi and pull it up, just click the link, and I'm sure you'll find a link to take you to everything that I do.
Yes, you are very Googleable.
Yes, very Googleable. I like that. We'll go with that.
Yes. Very good. I'm going to close out this segment with this is another track that I found on Reverb Nation that I really like. Twitter Padded. I really like
Twitter Pated.
Oh, it's Pated.
Yeah, you got real quick. I'll tell you the story behind that. You know where that came from?
No.
Jen, do you know where that came from?
Oh, she's actually out of the room for a moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, growing up, Disney. Let's go back to growing up. Bambi. The movie Bambi.
Yeah.
Remember whenever Bambi's like, what's wrong with them? Oh, they're okay. They're just Twitter pated.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Cartoons are my life. I love comedies and cartoons. I'm very animated, as you can tell.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's also the John Burroughs remix.
Oh, okay.
John Burroughs. John Burroughs?
I feel like I do.
Look it up.
All right. Very good. All right. Ian Hemi, AKA Silicon Kong. Thank you so much, my friend. I can't wait to see the movie. And I'm sure we'll, what's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, people, like I said, just find me. Mainly, a lot of that stuff will be released on my, mainly my Facebook pages.
Okay.
So, people just follow me, friend me, whatever you want to do if you want to get more information on it. And also on my Facebook pages, you can scroll through it and it'll take you. I also have a Facebook page for Silicon Kong himself. I also have another Facebook page for the Still City Architect, a Pittsburgh documentary itself too.
Oh,
you can find that on Facebook.
Excellent. All right, Ian Hemi, we'll let you go for now, but I'm sure we will talk again in the future.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, you take care now, Matt.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Ian Hemi. Yes, from Pittsburgh.